Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. We've got a special event here this afternoon. As you know, I have a Meet the CEO series. We spoke to a CEO just a couple of days ago. We've got another one tomorrow, and also special guests. Over the next few months, there's going to be about 50 different CEOs of publicly traded companies, star guests from YouTube channels like today. And so make sure that you don't miss any of those events. Now, today is a special one because we're talking to Robert Bhoi, who has his own successful YouTube channel. I'm going to share it with you later on. It's below the description of the video, and I'll also give it to you in the chat. He's from investing and entrepreneurship, and he's very passionate and very excited and invests in Nikola, and that's what our show is about today. There's many things I'd like to talk to with Robert about, but today we are talking about Nikola. That's what we're doing. So just before I bring Robert, our guest, onto the show today, you are in the live chat. If you've got any questions for Robert, then you can share them with us live today. You can ask a live question. We've already got Robbie Cooper coming in. Hello, good morning to you. If you are new to the channel, you might like to subscribe and ring the bell. And as always, you can tap the like button as well if you'd like to share this out. But today is predominantly about Nikola, and Robert a few weeks ago actually produced a video, and I love his studio and his setup. He does a great job, and he put out a video. I'll just show you a little bit here on the screen. And he was talking about me. See, look, I'm in the background there, and he was doing this video, and he was commenting to my opinions. And today we're going to cover some of those, and we're going to discuss that. And Robert's going to share his thoughts with us about Nikola, and we're going to discuss that as well. So if you want to know anything about Nikola today, you're in the right place. I'm sure Robert knows more about Nikola than I do. I don't have any shares in Nikola, as I don't have any shares in any stocks other than the S&P. The reason for that, of course, as you know, is so I can be impartial and unbiased. I only own the S&P. That's the way I get the CEOs on the show. If I was owning the individual stocks, then I might not be able to have those interviews. So without further ado, let's bring Robert into the show. Robert, lovely to have you live on my show today. Here he is. Give a great warm welcome from investing and entrepreneurship. We have Robert Bhoi. How are you this morning, sir?
Hi, Martin. Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
My absolute pleasure.
Everybody.
Hello. Yes, indeed. And congratulations on your successful YouTube channel. You're growing nicely. Lovely to have
Thank you, Martin.
On the show. And I saw your video a few weeks ago, and what you were saying about Nikola and my opinions on it. And I asked if you would like to be on the show, and you said you would. And we're going to discuss Nikola today. So before I bring in our audience, because you can ask questions today to Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself, Robert, and your journey on YouTube.
Well, for me, I've been in business for 20 years. I'm a business consultant, almost represent clients with cities and governments. So I'm educated in business, right? I went to school and everything. But I started the channel about 2 years ago, and I started investing in 2019. And one thing that did real good for me was a lot of these new SPAC IPO companies like Nikola and a lot of launches. So I started covering these type of companies, and there was a big audience, and the message started resonating. And I realized that there's a lot of people like me that are starting out. They don't have a lot of information. There's a lot of bad information online. So I started making these videos, and here we are. We're building a community, and it turns out that these topics are interesting to a lot of people out there.
You've absolutely done the right thing. When you start on a YouTube channel, you're going to pick a small topic at first, a small company. If you've gone straight to Tesla or Bitcoin, when everyone covers it, it's very difficult. I did the same thing when I started my channel a couple of years ago. I started with Virgin Galactic because I love space. my godfather's Kenny Baker, which is the man inside R2-D2 in Star Wars, hence the name
awesome.
Martyn Lucas. So obviously space is something I've always been interested in. So I started to cover Virgin Galactic, and the show grew because I was honing down in a specialist subject, and now I've expanded, and now I cover about 50 different stocks, and we rank for many of those on YouTube now. So that's how you start. You're absolutely right. You focus on a stock that you're really interested in, and there's a very passionate audience, Nikola. And unfortunately, passion can sometimes get in the way of good business judgment, and we're going to talk about that on the show today, and how that can get in the way of things. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give my audience an opportunity to ask questions. Are you an investor in Nikola yourself? Do you actually have shares in Nikola?
I do. And, there's a lot of people that have been following my journey. Basically, every week I do one episode on Saturday mornings. And I basically try to do a summary, not only of where Nikola's at, but also I'm sharing my journey investing in Nikola. And I've been all over the place, from being a fan when the company first came out. I really loved the mission, to making good, decent money on those trades. And then going through the whole fiasco when Milton, the old CEO, the founder, rolled that semi down the hill. And that kind of started the descent. And it kind of started all the misinformation and all the bad views on Nikola.
Yeah.
And then you add on top of that it's a SPAC IPO, and those themselves have a certain stigma to them.
Correct.
We just went downhill, right? And at first I was on the giving my opinion why I'm staying away from Nikola. But then as I saw Michael Oshler really start transforming the company, really start taking it into the right direction. And then when Steve Gursky came out, and he actually did what was necessary for, in my opinion, the business to really survive and not go bankrupt. Because for a long time, that was a big concern that a lot of people had, is that the company would go bankrupt. And right now, a lot of people still have those notions out there, but these are people that are not following the company. And I think that Nikola, being a startup, being, to me, what it seems is the real essence of American entrepreneurship, I think it's only fair to really put out the right information based on what's transcending, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter. And that's what I try to do. And, the community appreciates it. And
you're absolutely right. People do need good information, and I believe as someone who broadcasts on YouTube, I often say I'm not a YouTuber. I know that a lot of fellow YouTubers don't understand when I always say that. It's because I'm an entertainer. I'm the world piano man. I've performed all over the world, every country of the world. I've toured for like 38 years. I've had my own Vegas show. I was a producer and director of my own Vegas show. I've been in the Phantom of the Opera. I was the Phantom. I've done many things, and I use YouTube now as a broadcasting medium. This is my TV studio behind me, and I broadcast as an entertainer. I'm not trying to sell videos or get subscribers. I'm trying to engage live. It's why I'm live 10 hours a day, every day, building this show. That's what I'm about. But we have a responsibility, I believe, as broadcasters, or YouTuber, if you want to call yourself that, because people follow us, engage with us. So I'm growing 1,000 subscribers a week at the moment, and that's important because people listen to you and they're influenced by you. And it's always important to say, I'm sure you say the same thing. I don't give financial advice, but this is my journey, this is my thoughts, beliefs, and I'm sharing with you the most honest information that I can. And you're building a community of real people, not subscribers, actual people. I shared an image last night on X. I shared an image about we just passed 19,000 subscribers. We're about to pass 20,000 in a couple of days.
Congratulations, Juan.
Thank you. Oh, you'll be there. You'll be there soon. I'm sure of it. You're growing well. But this is what I put out, and this is, I think, what it's about. This is a stadium here of 80,000 people, and my audience is down the bottom there, 1/4 of the stadium. And I like to sort of think of it that way because it's real people, right? It's not subscribers, it's human beings that join you every day and all the rest of it. But anyway, we've talked a little bit about Nikola so far. Let's pick up on some points. I enjoyed watching your video, so I want to tell everybody today that me and Robert had a conversation a couple of days ago about being on the show, and we never discussed what questions I would ask and so on. So, and that's how we do it. And one of my CEOs on my show a couple of days ago did a wonderful testimony to the show. He said, "I love the fact that you don't do questions. It is just two guys having a conversation, or ladies, of course, having a conversation together." And so everyone knows that Robert's not prepared. He doesn't know what I'm going to say or what I'm going to ask, and that's great because it's real, right? It's real emotion. It's real. Absolutely. So let's just pick this up. This was a broadcast that Robert put out about Nikola just a short while ago, and let's discuss some of these points that he made in his video. So here we go. This is Robert's channel. I'll give you the link for this in a moment.
With Nikola, are you gambling with Nikola?
Gambler wants to know is this video going to pump a stock? Am I going to get rich? I don't want to. What I was talking about here.
It just sounds like he's referring to Nikola, the people that the crowd that follows Nikola, as idiots, gamblers.
Okay, so and I just want to be absolutely clear. Me and Robert have a very good relationship. Okay, this is not in any way bad blood. I wouldn't have him on the show if we weren't mates. We had a great chat the other day. But what Robert was suggesting there, what I was saying there in my video, that Nikola does have a lot of gamblers who invest in the stock or gamble in the stock. That doesn't mean to say everybody does. Institutions certainly aren't gamblers. You're not a gambler. You're educated on the stock. But what I am suggesting that there are a lot of gamblers. And you used the word you would use the word I didn't use the word idiot, and that's correct. There are people with that some mentality, because I've had them on my show. I had one guy phone up. He drives one of the trucks, and he said, "You should invest in Nikola. It's going to make us all rich." Oh, great. Brilliant. And I asked him, I said, "Tell me about the balance sheet, the numbers." And I hadn't even looked at the stock at this point. And he said, "I don't care about that." So what do you mean you don't care about the balance sheet? I study the balance sheet all of the time, and I'm just going to share with you on the screen my analysis for the balance sheet. This is the numbers in case anyone's interested. And you have to know the balance sheet, you have to know the financials, the debt position, and so on and so forth. And he said, "I don't care. It's a great thing, and I'm going to get rich." I said, "Well, you don't know." So that's what I'm referring to. When we get these stocks that are, and I know you don't like the phrase, but it's a fact, anything under $5 is a penny stock. That's the definition of the term. Oh, there's a nice comment. Good to see you talking together. There you go. Good to see you talking together. As I said, this is very good, good-willed conversation. Just because we disagree on certain points, that doesn't matter. That's what this show's all about. But anyway, so there are people that buy the stock who don't care about the numbers. So what's your thoughts to that? That's what you were referring to. You were saying, I'm saying people are gamblers. Not everybody, but there are. In this in a penny stock, specifically under $1, you do get people who think they can buy a stock for nothing and make money out of it. What's your thought on that?
Let me phrase it properly. See, I think that there's something called emotional intelligence, and it's a very important topic to recognize when we're investing, because our emotions can mislead us. The emotions of the people that are talking to us can mislead us. Now, when I came on this YouTubing mission, really, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. What I'm really trying to do is use technology to get my message out. I prepared myself. I always wanted to, address people. I love people. I really care about people. I just can't not care about people. It's part of what keeps me going. So, when I started addressing the community, I was just talking like somebody that got into the stocks, like somebody that invested And I didn't really had experience gauging my message and the impact that it has on people. So over the first year I realized that the market's going up and down, and obviously part of the YouTube experience is a little bit of showmanship, putting on a show, and I've learned it from a lot of
Absolutely, I get that.
collaborators. I have clients that are in the show business, and I've learned that about them. And it's important because people don't only want to be informed and educated; they want to be entertained. And the art of being able to inform, educate, and entertain, it's really fun, and I think it's really a good energy that transmits. It's one thing that I love about you, Martyn. I really do, and I'm really glad that we're here. I love the excellence behind your show, and that's something that is worthy of recognition and credit. So back to the question with the Nikola community. I started noticing that some people were losing big money, and I also started noticing through the comments the lack of maturity that sometimes people have. And it makes it really hard to understand who it is that's behind those profiles. Is it a young person in their 20s? Is it an old person? It is hard to tell, right? So that's why I always encourage everybody, comment. Let's have a conversation here. Because through well expressed comments, you get to know people, especially when they keep coming back, and you start building the community. So as I went through the journey, I started realizing that there's two types of people following: those that are actually mature investors, or mature traders, or simply good, mature citizens, people out there, good people out there, that they're the same place I was in the journey of learning. So they're making mistakes. And then you got all these people that are, and I try to keep a strong tone, because A, that's just kind of like my personality, and B,
I
it
love it.
allows me to be authentic.
Yeah.
So I started addressing these people that are not only coming on the comment section and dropping some what I call idiotic comments. They add no context to the conversation. They help nobody. They don't further anything. And as a person that's first getting out there, for me, this feels like I'm going on the stage and speaking, and it's nerve wracking. And I noticed that those comments used to get to me, right? But I do have the blessing that I went to school. I have a bachelor's in business. I have a master's in public policy. I've engaged in a lot of personal development. So all that information, all those books that I read prepared me a lot. And it's one of the things that I wanted to do before I started speaking to people on the internet. That's why my channel's out there since 2008, but I'm barely coming on. And that's really what I want to express and clarify, that I understand that we are talking to other human beings that are coming on our shows because they're looking for some sort of guidance, some sort of direction, some sort of quality information. And a lot of these SPAC companies like Virgin, like Nikola, like Rocket Lab, like Fisker, there's just simply not a lot of information out there, and there's not a lot of guidance from the CEOs besides the quarterly earnings and those that actually engage on social media. Not everybody's an Alex Karp from Palantir or Anthony Noto from SoFi, which do a great job, but you got to also understand how seasoned they are. So that's why I'm trying to do these shows and be as transparent, not only with the information that I'm picking up, and sometimes I may have wrong information, but the community comes in and they drop proper information, and that's where it starts to make a difference, because there's people that we're all getting information, whether it's real, whether it's verified, whether it's direct, whether it's recent. But when we start building this community and we start talking about this information, and you start to recognize the channels that come on frequent and are always providing good information, and people start to identify those comments and they follow them, they respect them, I learn a lot from the community. And more than anything, I get really good energy from a lot of the community. There's always
Good.
haters, people calling me penny stock pumper and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. But I've learned that, when you go and look at their profiles, they're really, I don't want to say they're nobody, but as digital citizens that were coming out here on the internet, we're building a profile. Some people are transparent and they really, show who they are. We're really here to be in the community, because we're now shifting to
Okay.
being online.
All right.
And there's the people that hide. They hide behind the profiles. So it's very important to learn who's out there, and sometimes read between the lines and also analyze. We don't know their true intentions. We don't
Sure.
even know if there's some kind of data center in India or the Philippines, or somewhere in Mexico, wherever it may be, that they're out of scam business, or now they're here helping short sellers and pumpers, spread
Well,
misinformation.
I appreciate your thoughts on that, and I appreciate your explanation with the sentiment behind the stock and how you feel with regard to the stock and your audience, and understanding that. That's great. Let's move on to the next point now. Let's move on to the next one.
So I'm taking little offense to the message that I'm hearing from Martyn. Now I want to give Martyn a chance. So if anybody knows Martyn, let him know that I'm questioning what he's doing talking about Nikola, because I heard him talk about Nikola a few times, and he's not as knowledgeable about Nikola as he wants to appear like he is. He knows how to trade. I'll give him that. From what he talks about, it sounds like he knows how to trade. I don't understand why he has such little money.
Okay, so we'll move on now to the next point. This is a great conversation, Robert, and all respect for you for coming on and having
and
this,
it's all part of the show.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. You understand that, I understand that. So yeah, I've as the world piano man alongside Elton John, I've worn some very big costumes, so I know about putting a show on. So I'm right with you. Just so everybody is fully clear there, yes, I used to trade a lot with Barclays Bank many years ago. So I do understand trading. I do understand numbers, all of that stuff. I've got a good experience in that. But just so everybody knows and everyone's absolutely clear, I do not own any stocks other than the S&P. And it was decided to do that because CEOs that have been on my show now regard the channel as media, as a TV media. And it's to get away from that, what you mentioned, and it's why I just showed that clip about the pump and the dump situation. No one can ever say that I'm roaring kitty pumping stocks. I don't own any stocks. And just full disclosure, this is my entire portfolio. This is all of my money in the world. There's my main account. There's my Roth IRA. That's all the money I have in the world. I have no car loan, no credit cards, no bank, no bank account other than about $20. This is all the money in my account. This Robinhood is my bank account. This is all of the money. And if you look on each account, the Roth IRA or the main account, 100% of my money is in the S&P. So not only do I not own the stocks, I share with the whole world every day, 10 hours a day, every single penny I have in the world. And there you can see, there's my main account. 99.9% is because I just got $5 of Apple yesterday because I won it on Robinhood. But there you go, just to show everybody that I do understand trading. I used to do it at Barclays Bank, and I also have I don't own the stocks. I only own the S&P. So we can have these honest conversations and so on and so forth. And when it comes to the numbers, I don't have the history and knowledge that you do about Nikola. I've watched your channel for information on Nikola. What I do is I study the numbers. I'm not emotionally involved in any stock actually, or a fan of any stock. What I like to do as someone who does numbers and accountancy is I look at numbers, and I look at balance sheets. This is why I use alpha spread here. Look at the debt position. I look at the margin position. This is how I make my assumption whether I should buy a stock or not. But Nikola, I was quite bearish on Nikola at the time of making this video, which you then commented so well. I'm now bullish on the stock because I think the way the management have changed, and their last earnings call and their presentation, I put the news out, and the way the CEO did an interview with Fox, I put that out as well. I think now Nikola are in a much stronger position, even though they are still a penny stock and they have a huge short interest and a lot of negativity around the stock. like you mentioned, the founder, off to prison and all the rest of it. It's going to take a long time for them to get over that. But anyway, let's before we I asked for a comment on that. Let's have just a little bit more. And thank you for being such a good sport for today, for doing this reply video. It's very good. Very good indeed.
I'm having a good time.
Being honest with how much he really has. I dig his music. I went and saw his music, so I don't have nothing against him. But I question what he knows on Nikola. Now, he said he was going to start talking about Nikola a lot more, that he was going to start following it today. In the other videos, he said today. He said he was going to start following them. Now, how did I come across his channel again? Because in the morning, I had one of those days when I don't really have to get out of bed. My wife had to take my daughter to school this morning.
I think we'll leave it just there anyway. But so that's my position. So tell me, because we've got a lot of people here who are very interested in Nikola, and I learn more and more every day from talking to people. Many of my Lucasades, my army, if you like, they have messaged the CEO and investor relations, because they've reached out to me and told me that they've heard from the investors of the stock, and we hope to soon line up an interview with the CEO, the CFO, to be on the show and to learn more. But what is your thoughts on the stock going forward? We have a huge short interest. The solvency score is good. We've got 52%. The company's not going bust. Profitability is very low at the moment, 23%. But then that would be expected. But look at what Wall Street think could happen to the stock. Right? We've got 175% upside from here, or a 357% upside from here. So Wall Street absolutely love it. But I am still concerned why so many of the insiders are still selling the stock. They're still not buying the stock. And how much lower does it have to get before you think that they might start buying it? So, you've covered Nikola a lot more than I have for a longer period of time. Give me your thoughts on, first of all, the short interest, got 17.86%. Still very little news. If sentiment, not many. If you look at this here, this is alpha spread, probably the best way of reviewing stocks. It's all of my content that's making the news. This is the news. This is the financial chart we just did. There's the earnings. There's my analysis. 2 months ago, Green Stock and Yahoo. 2 months ago, very little interest in the general media. So, Robert, I want to ask you, first of all, what do you think? Where's the stock going now in the future? A lot of it, we've got a high short interest. We've got insiders still not buying the stock, still selling the stock, insiders, and very little media. But on the upside, the stock is 68 cents, and it's got a 375% Wall Street forecast within the next 12 months. What's your thoughts on the stock?
Okay, I'm going to take about 5 minutes on this answer to give a good answer.
Please take your time.
First of all, we really need to understand that this stock is being punished for several reasons. And we need to understand that there's a difference between the stock and the company, the business itself. So the stock itself is already shown a resistance to this low place where it's at right now. So let's really understand that the stock and the business are divorced, and there's a lot of things that need to play out. So the stock is still a speculative stock. It really is still a speculative stock. What is important to notice is that the stock has shown a tendency to not go further below those 50 cents, the $0.50. So what it really starts to provide, as if you're following the stock, let's talk about it as a trade and as a speculative investment first, and then we'll talk about it as a long-term good investment opportunity. And I like to do this because this is where a lot of people, their inexperience and their emotions have gotten the best of them on this factor, okay? Nikola has a great potential, just like Bitcoin had at the beginning of existence, just like Palantir, and just like so many other Googles and Amazons of the world. But let's never forget that they went through a trajectory before they really became good stocks that institutions can actually justify their due diligence requirements to really be able to start scooping these investments up on a long-term basis without having to sell them. So we have a lot of volatility in the stock, and it's just part of the of understanding that Nikola did come to the market as a SPAC, does have a lot of debt. Now, people say cash burn, but reality, we got to look at what they burned that cash on. And that's a double-edged sword because there's a lot of bad things that they had to cover and spend money on. But a lot of this has gotten resolved since mid-2023. And right now, starting 2024, the progress that it's making, if it continues to make progress quarter through quarter, selling more fuel cell electric vehicles, and now putting these battery electric plug-in TREs back in the market, if they continue to get orders for this and they continue to dispense hydrogen and they continue to be conservative on their cost, I do see that quarter through quarter, we're going to see an improvement on the stock. Now, if I was here, giving predictions, I would not be any different than most of those other people that are covering Nikola. So it's not really about giving predictions. It's really about understanding where the company's at, understanding that just like this stock could just keep going down, it has a tendency to shoot up a lot faster. Just the same way it came down fast, a lot of these SPAC IPOs are starting to recover and they're starting to show strength. So really, my view, and this is my view, again, not advice, an opinion, sharing my journey, my view is that if anybody's interested in Nikola and you're looking at the long-term vision, understanding this, could fail, but it's already showing maturity. It's already showing progress. It's already showing that the worst part of the storm already passed. So on a 5-year basis, on a 10-year basis, I think it's a wonderful opportunity because this stock appears like it made it, appears like it's going to go far. And like you've shown, a lot of the analysts, have positive outlooks on it. And this stock has shown that when it takes off fast. And part of that short interest, it's part of it, it's already happened where the shorts get squeezed. So that's kind of like my general view on the stock and the company. They're two different things, and everybody needs to understand that a lot of times the stocks are divorced from what's going on in the companies, but all of a sudden things can take off. Let's just look at what happened with Palantir and what has happened with SoFi. Two great companies, and their stocks are reacting different to the trajectories, but nonetheless, they're showing, especially with like SoFi, that's also a SPAC IPO, they're showing that these things, when they move fast in either direction.
Appreciate your thoughts there. A lot of information there to unpack. When you said the stock price is different, it doesn't matter so much, it's the value of the company. I appreciate what you're saying. The value of the company is not the stock price. The stock price is purely what people are prepared to pay for the price stock today. Simple as that. If I've got a can of Coke and a can of Coke is worth $1, and today for some reason it's 10 cents, it's still $1 worth of Coke. It's still going to refresh me the same as it did when I paid $1 for it. However, I want to add to your comment. You're right that it's separate and doesn't matter, but it kind of does for the investor though, because it presents opportunity to buy a stock that appears to be cheaper, and just because it's necessarily 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents doesn't mean necessarily it's cheap. It's all about what the company produce. That's why the balance sheets are so important. But if a stock is down at 68 cents where it is today, it does matter because the company can't raise any capital or funds, get funding from institutions, bank doesn't attract the right sort of investor. They have to go to the investor then to perhaps reverse split to remain on the index. Otherwise, they can be delisted and they don't get seen and they don't get taken seriously. So even though it's not the value of the company from a financial standpoint, it's actually very important that we've got a stock at 68 cents. Now, when you said it pops out and presents opportunity, I'd like to challenge you on that, because if we look at the overall chart, it doesn't suggest it pops up really at all. Yes, if we go under a magnifying glass and we zoom in, there are these peaks and troughs, and you need to look at that. But if we look at the overall thing, it's just flatlining and continually going down. And when we see these peaks tell me that people bought it, there was some news, it popped, they sold it, and each time it sets a lower high. It keeps coming down because people know, when I look at that, I know that's just a very, very simple, basic line chart, but the point is, what it shows me, and we can go into great detail with Sensei, who does technical analysis in minute by minute. What we see is, each time people took some profit, they got a little bit less confident and started selling just before it reached that high, because previously it sold at that position. So it shows that people, even the investors, people that buy the stock, who believe in it, still sell it just beneath that peak because they're concerned it's gonna crash again. Even the insiders have been selling it. So even though I've said I am bullish on the company and the technology and the way they presented their earnings, things are improving. I love hydrogen. I believe in hydrogen. I think that whole technology is great. It's very expensive right now, but I'm sure in time it will, that cost will come down. And there's a real business here. However, the stock price is taking a punishment, and it is affecting the business, and the insiders know it because they're selling it too. So even though you give a very good answer and you paint a very optimistic opinion, the numbers don't back it up. For me at the minute, even though I'm bullish on it and I think the company can do well, it needs some big investors to come in. It needs people to stop scalping it and gambling on it and shorting it. It also needs, they need to raise more money because they're going to run out of money at this point, at this level. So what's your response to that?
Okay. One thing that people that have been watching my videos consistently have heard me say many times is like, I've gone from Nikola is not a good investment. I usually say that it's not a good investment. We got to understand what's a good investment and what's a bad investment. And that's why these kind of stocks require really the right type of trader investor combination. That's why you get people that come in, make a bunch of money, sell, and then they're still in the stock. They're just not holding it because it's not the type of stock that you hold. This is not the SPY. It's not, Berkshire Hathaway. It's not one of those stocks that you could just hold. It is a stock that you gotta take advantage of the volatility, and that's one of the main reasons why I think these insiders are not buying is because it's not really worth it for them to start doing this, because it's only going to affect the company that much more. It's only going to add to that noise. One of the things that Nikola with the stock needs to do, it needs to still cure a lot of things. Like, even for example, this whole Trevor Milton situation, it still needs to finish playing off, because there's about $120 some million that Nikola should be receiving just from the legal fees. And this is all going through court, and they're waiting on a court decision, but it really looks in the favor of Nikola receiving this money. There's monies there that are still tied up due to the Trevor Milton situation and a lot of things that are going on. So Nikola does have a financial situation that can be concerning, but it's doing all the right moves to bring it to the right place where, even if it, I'm not saying that it will reverse stock split or it won't. What I'm saying is that these are common strategies that companies use to start curing these type of issues and bring them to where they are starting to have all the right justifications for these firms that would invest for them to provide more money. Right now, what Nikola has, it's a lot of support from its customers, because one thing that makes Nikola unique is that their whole purpose of existence is really providing clean, zero emission semi trucks. And they're not competing for the interstate transportation. They're really only going after last mile delivery. And they're really focusing on markets that the governments themselves want to bring these technologies. So there's all this government money, this government support to enable it. And Nikola's been very clever. Steve Gursky is really the one behind this. The CEO, the current CEO. And Steve Gursky's been there for a while. He's the one that brought the SPAC to Trevor Milton. And this is something a lot of people don't know. Very few people know. So Steve Gursky has all the right backing financially and in the industry to make this work. But things still need to get flushed out, things still need to get worked out, where the real investors will understand that. I'm sorry about this.
No
Where the
problem.
real investors will understand, okay, now we can start looking at Nikola as a serious investment. Just like right now, you can start looking at Palantir. Better said, just like right now, institutions are really starting to look at Palantir like a serious investment. Like, okay, now our due diligence is justified. Now we can really start adding this to our portfolio. Nikola still has to go through that. And I think this is where you and I have our communities. We've addressed the communities, like, for example, a lot of the people that don't understand that, it's a lot of the people that have come in and lost their shirts or just pumped the stock, and they don't really know what they're doing. They made a little bit of money on one of those upswings. They got all excited, they got loud, they got emotional, and then they lost the money when it came back down. And then they got loud, they got emotional, and you got a lot of this going on. And that's part of the noise that I think needs to settle down, so that it's going to help. All that's going to help reduce the volatility in the stock. It's going to reduce the amount of short interest. And honestly, I don't see Nikola being like a really good investment until maybe 2026. Right now, all it is, it provides opportunities to trade. If like, for example, me, that I'm in this for the long term, I want to be able to understand that, the money that I put, I got to be willing to lose it, first of all. And I say this always with these stocks: do not invest money you're not willing to lose. B, if you are concerned of losing it, you have to know how much you're gonna be willing to take before you put your stop loss. How much loss are you going to willing to accept before you get out of the stock? If you don't have this maturity, you should not even be playing with the stock. But if you understand basic things about a stock in this place, um, Nikola's good, just like any other stock that's speculative like this, and that's important to address. I don't know if we will be able to cover it in one show. This is part of why I wanted to be able to collaborate with you, so we can really talk and start bringing a calm sense of information in the internet. Because right now, there's not a lot of channels that cover Nikola in a good connotation. I'm one of the only ones that consistently cover it, and it's because I have the backbone to do it. I love what you're doing, Martyn. I saw the earnings when you posted them. I seen, as you've gotten familiar with the stock, and I have watched your shows. I seen how your opinion is aligning with the current times. Plus, I think that your audience also provides information that helps um, be able to tell where things are going from the people that know. But I don't know if I overspoke, but I just want to make that clear. It's very important to understand where Nikola is at as a stock and the kind of stock it is, the kind of investment it is, because this is not a safe investment. It's a speculative investment. It is a penny stock, and people get emotional about hearing that. But it doesn't make it that if you know what you're doing, you can't do well. A lot of people have done well with the stock. Now, I'm not trying to sound like I'm pumping it. I'm trying to provide clarity that maybe the only people that have done well is maybe a 1%. Just like in America, we have the 1% that does really well, but it's because they follow certain education, certain approaches towards things.
That's right.
That 99 everybody does.
99% of the wealth is owned by 1%. That's just the way it's always has been and always will be. If you took all the money away from everybody, it would end up back in the same people's hands as it was before. I don't agree with the sentiment. I mean, we use this a lot. A lot of people say this, and we talk about it on our show all the time. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. I don't like that sentiment at all. I don't lose money. I don't lose money at all. I make money from everything. All my life, whatever business, there's always a way. People expect mediocrity rather than excellence as a standard, and say, okay, it's all right if I lose money. It's not all right if you lose money. If you consistently make 1%, a tiny amount of money, and never lose anything, you'll be rich. If you make 10% or 100% one day and lose 100% the next day, like going to a casino, you'll always be poor. And I remember, I use a story a lot. I took off 4 years from my Vegas show and whatever, went on a cruise ship, spent 4 years earning $1 tips when everybody else was sat on the beach smoking and drinking and doing all the things in between. I would work 8 hours a day in the piano bar. And I got off the ship 4 years later with $1 tips and I bought a house. And everybody else said, why are you bothered? It's $1 a tip, $1 tip. But I was doing thousands and thousands and thousands of these over and over again. And if you concentrate, my dad always said to me, take care of the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves. Take care of the cents, the dollars take care of themselves. And if you concentrate on the numbers and how not to lose money, rather than it's okay to lose some money, it doesn't matter. If you concentrate on that, you consistently make profits, and you might consistently make a little bit, but you keep winning a little bit and putting that away and earning 12% on the S&P, for example, or 5% in uninvested cash on a bond or Robinhood, or, whatever. And you never lose money, you'll end up with your $1 million. I mean, I've got a target to turn this portfolio into $1 million. And it will be there in a few years, no doubt about it. I know how to achieve that, but it's very easy. People go, only invest what you're prepared to lose and think that's okay. It's not okay, because you forget how many times you've lost, and when you do win, you didn't win overall. You're still down because you lost it on the other time. So, I don't like investing when I think it's. I also don't like scalp trading, even though I haven't had success doing it. 95% of scalp traders lose, statistically lose. Now, there are many that make money, and many on my shows today make money scalp trading. We all make money scalp trading, but overall, so you win one day, you lose the next. 95% lose money, and it's bit crazy to think that you're the 5% smarter than anyone else. You're smarter than the algorithms, Wall Street, people that inside trade who know know before you know. So your odds of winning consistently are very much against you. And when you search for successful traders and investors on YouTube, people often forget this. When you type in how to get rich, how to make money, how to do this, how to do that, it shows you the successful channels, not because they're successful, because YouTube have shown that content because it makes YouTube money. So that YouTuber has become successful, and he may have never made any money. The ones that don't make any money or who don't get seen may or may not be winning, but you will never see them because they didn't rise to the top through the algorithm. So you very rarely find a YouTube channel on how to lose all your money because that video didn't get discovered, whereas the ones how to get rich, that gets discovered. So it's very easy to think. It's just like when we look on Facebook and we see everybody having a wonderful holiday. The people that are having a rubbish time, who aren't very happy, aren't posting that on Facebook going, I've just had a crap holiday. You don't get to see that. You get to see the people who made money and how much they just bought a new car and so on. So it doesn't mean that's everyone's winning and everyone's got a better looking wife or girlfriend than you. It's just those people are showing that information and those that aren't winning aren't getting seen. So, it's important to put that message out too, that long-term investing will always win. Education and the numbers will always pay off. And I like to follow the money. I know you've heard that phrase, and I'm sure you understand that. You have a business degree. Where is the money going? Where does Warren Buffett put his money? Not that Warren Buffett is smarter than you or I, or you should follow him or anybody else.
You want a good investment, put your money in Warren Buffett. That's why Berkshire Hathaway is a good investment. The SPAC's a good investment. Listen, one of the things that I say on my show, and for the people that watch it, they know this, when I sell, I sell. When I see something coming and I see it going down, I sell. I'm not encouraging people to be traders. I'm not. I talk about my show on Nikola because there's a lot of people that trade it. So I provide context to the generals. Really my show, what I say, the root of my show is make money in business. That's the whole entrepreneurial side of it.
Invest in yourself.
Make money in business, because just not making money, my dad was a penny picker. He taught me to pick up pennies. He said, never leave a penny on the street.
No, I'm not that.
Bad luck. Yeah. And he told me, he owned apartment buildings. He told me, I had a lady that one time she paid me her rent with pennies. All the pennies she had been collecting, she paid me the rent with that. Obviously, this was back in the 80s when a penny bought you a piece of gum, And I learned one thing, just holding money, it's also a rigged game. It's even the government and currency, it's the casino, because money is losing a lot of value. So people need to add this to their money management math, how much buying power the money that you have is losing. And you have to consider that. Now with Nikola, I come on the show and I said, what, I don't see something good coming, I'm going to sell. And I don't have a lot of stock in Nikola either. I'm pretty transparent what I have. I have about 4,000 shares, below $1. And I've come on the show say, what, I'm going to sell or I'm going to buy. And even just yesterday on this weekend's video, somebody came and said, oh, I don't listen to what you say because you always change your mind. And I guess what he was referring to is that
the markets change all the time. You should change your mind.
I'm bullish today. I'm not feeling too bullish, this week. And that's why I come on the show and I give a news update. I give an update on my position, what I'm doing, because it's part of that context that you're saying, losing money is not good. Nobody should be in the stock market to lose money. And for the people that are trading, there's opportunities to make money. That's why you got short seller firms out there. They know how to play this game, but the game is a little rigged, and it's designed so that the people that don't know what they're doing, they lose their shirt. So that's one thing that I want to point out and add to the message. It's like investing is about making money. Nobody should be losing money. And after you made money, after you got good at investing and your investings are giving you money, and you say, well, look, like me, money's not everything in the world for me, life is everything. So even though I've managed to make money, I've made money that I see, okay, let me have a little bit of fun with this. If I made this much money, I'll play with the stock. I'll trade. I'll keep myself in that entertainment. Now, this is not for everybody. This is not advice. This is me being human and down to earth with a lot of people that this is one thing that a lot of people that play these stocks sometimes are in it for too, the thrills. What I want to make clear to the people that think that you can get rich on a stock, it doesn't work that way. The stock market will make you rich if you follow what the rich people have done. There's a lot of people that started in the stock market and they written books about it. They started broke, they started poor, they started like me with the business, and they started investing, and through hard work, dedication, and time, a lot of time, they became wealthy. Just going in a stock because it sounds very promising and the shares are below $1 or they're over the counter and it has a lot of volatility, it doesn't mean that's a good investment. So I want to make it clear to everybody, Nikola is not necessarily a good investment. It's not a good investment if you look at it in the purpose of the stock. The stock itself is not a good investment. The company is promising. What they're doing is very revolutionary, and it's a cause that people find it easy to align themselves with. But you really got to be careful what you're doing. You really got to understand that, it's not a good investment. I don't know how many other ways to say it.
I'm glad you added that, because the most important investment you make is yourself, your education and yourself. That's number one. You can always make money and be successful if you're the best of yourself and you invest in yourself, number one. Number two, if you're going to buy a stock, whatever it might be, and it's a company that is losing money, like Nikola is losing money, its balance sheet isn't great right now, things aren't great, and you get a 20% bounce on a stock, you have to ask yourself in a calm manner, that is more than I can make in a year, and you can make 20% in 5 minutes on a bounce on a stock like Nikola in 5 minutes. That is more than you can make on the 500 best companies in the world that are all profitable and all have amazing balance sheets over 12 months. And of course, what I'm talking about is the S&P 500. So if you buy a stock that is losing money, does not have a good balance sheet, and in 5 minutes, you've been lucky to get a 10% bounce or 20% bounce or whatever it might be, and you don't regard that as a good time to sell when you've just beaten what the 500 most successful companies in the world have done over a year, when do you ever sell? And we have had it on the show. Right. We have had it on the show where we have looked at a stock. We have a very, very good scalp trader every morning, comes into Discord, gives great tips, gets it right 80% of the time. And we discover many scalp trades that will go up 1,000% in an hour. We've done it. Our viewers and our viewers have done it many times. 1,000%. We've seen it. We must have one every other day, one every third day, something like that with Ed Nevius, and 1,000%. And people go, I'm not selling it. It's like, you've just made 1,000% profit. That's 10 years of the 500 best companies in the world. Yeah, but it's going to go on forever. Okay, so what are you waiting for? If you can achieve that sort of gain and you don't sell it, you are flipping bonkers and you're never going to be successful, because what the heck are you waiting for? But I want to, if I'm giving that information out as I just did, if you are doing stuff like that and scalp trading like that, remember to do it in your IRA. Many people make this mistake. They do it in their brokerage account. They buy a stock today, they sell it 5 minutes later, they make 1,000%, at least I hope they do, and they sell it. And of course, they then pay maximum capital gains tax on all that money they just made. Great. If you'd waited for a year, you pay less tax. So the first year, it's maximum. In the first, if you do it same day, scalp trading, it's maximum. So what you do to avoid that is you do those trades in your IRA. I have an IRA. I've just shared it on the screen. You can put $8,000 a year currently into it, and I max it out every year. I've done it for the last 3 years. Put your money in there to do your scalp trading, because you can scalp trade as many times as you want, unlimited. You get 1,000 times a day if you want. You'll get a pattern day trading mark. That doesn't matter, right? You just don't get uninvested cash, but you don't anyway on a Roth IRA. And scalp trade that way. But for God's sake, if you've made anything above 10% to 1,000, and we've seen it, on a stock that isn't actually making any money, then what are you waiting for? And if you do it that way, you'll make loads of money. You won't pay any taxes. You won't pay capital gains tax, and you can do it over and over again until the cows come home. That's important. Have you ever been lucky enough to have a trade like, I'm sure you have, where you've bought a stock and it's popped 10, 20, 30, 50? You've had those sort of gains before, Robert?
I have, and I'm going to take this moment to explain something about me, okay? First of all, 95% of my wealth is not in speculative stocks. It's in things like gold, bullion, silver. I got a little bit of Bitcoin. And most of it is in safer investments. Now, it is very important to manage your money in a year, everything that's coming in. And like you're saying, Martyn, take the tax part into consideration. Now, here's a secret that a lot of people don't know. A lot of the people that trade because they know the game is really more likely that you're going to lose money than you're going to make money. So you only take a portion to trade because at the end of the day, when you're trading and you lost, you understand that you're going to get a little tax offset. Overall, in your investments, you got to win. But sometimes a little bit of loss is not the end of the world, because it's tax credits. And this is a reason why people trade sometimes, because it provides you the rush, the adrenaline rush of being in that game. It is something that is addicted. And I want to point this out, Martyn, because I think that's what you were referring when you were saying gamblers. There's people that do it for that reason, the adrenaline rush. And it's a genuine, I guess, freedom that we have. We can do that. But you got to understand that if you lose, you have to know how to treat that money. If you win, you have to know how to treat that money. You have to know when to cut yourself off. Like, look, I've had years when I've traded and I made more than enough that I already knew I needed to stop because I cannot do better than that. I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. And I did so good. Why mess with it that year? Just cut myself off. So I just want to share that to the people that
it's a good point. No, it's a good point. You can sell for losses, but I want to again add to that. It's very easy to use it. A lot of I see it all. Remember, I come from a background of entertainer first of all, but I run many successful companies, limited companies, my Vegas show, all the rest of it. So I understand numbers. I've employed lots of people and all the rest of it. So you have to. A lot of things on YouTube get headlines. People talk about going to the moon. That was a phrase made up. It wasn't made up by an investment banker or Warren Buffett. It was made up by I think BitBoy and YouTubers and Diamond Hands.
I heard it so many times.
Oh, all this stuff. All these phrases.
Everybody uses it, but where did it come from?
Right. They're not actually proper, legitimate, phrase made up for entertainment purposes, right? It's dramatic. It sounds great. We're going to the moon. I don't even know what that actually means. We're going to the moon, but people love to use it, and people like to use that. Sell for losses as if it's some kind of like get out of jail card. It's okay. Doesn't matter. It's a complex subject, and when you say sell for a loss, that is right. And you can do that. It wouldn't be any point doing that on your Roth IRA, by the way. If you sell for a loss on a stock you bought on your Roth IRA, you just lost money. No tax benefit there because you're not paying tax on it anyway. So make sure that you don't think of that as some tax get out of jail card, because it certainly ain't that. You just literally lost money and that's it. However, if you do it on your brokerage account and you sell for a loss, you need to know what your tax implication was in the first place. So in other words, if I've earned 100 grand this year and I'm taxed at 20%, I'm going to be charged $20,000 this year in tax. If I've got no expenses and no deductibles, I'm going to get a $20,000 tax bill. Okay. So if I then go out and I sell something for a loss and I lose $5,000, I got $5,000 to offset the $20,000. It's not $20,000 bill minus $5,000. Now I'll pay 15%. Sorry, 15,000. Right. The 5,000 will become an expense, and a portion of that, depending on my tax position and many complications, will determine I get a discount on my tax. But it's not free. It's not like people have I've had several companies, and people say put it on the company expenses. Well, it's not free because it's a company expense. It's an expense to my company, so it's costing me money just to go out and go, well, I'll just buy a new car, stick it on the company, because I'm Martyn Lucas LLC. I employ, this show employs me, the person. But if I spend the company money, it's not I've got myself a free gift. It's my bottom line that's been reduced. So whatever. So if you're going to sell for a loss, number one, not on your Roth IRA, your Roth or traditional IRA, because you're not taxed anyway. So don't think you've just gained there because you haven't. And on your brokerage account, make sure you're doing it for a good reason. One reason why it is a very good reason is you've just tipped over the next threshold to a higher taxpayer. So maybe you've gone from 20% to 30%. You're a higher taxpayer. And if you could reduce your profit by $1,000, you're back down at the 20%. That's what big businesses do. They make sure they keep themselves under the threshold tiers. So don't just say, I'm selling for a loss, and you think you're the smartest man in the world, and aren't I clever? You need to know, have a conversation with your accountant and know exactly what your implication was going to be.
Losing money should never be a strategy. You just got to know what to do with the money you lost. The right thing to do. So I want to make that clear. Losing money should never be a strategy. And another tip that I would like to give people is that take time to educate yourself, even with your taxes. There's free tax softwares out there on the internet. Like, I don't want to give a shout out to any company, but I use this product and it's good. Like TaxHawk, for example, you can go set up a profile and start plugging numbers in there. Estimate what your income for the year is going to be, what it's going to look like, what your expenses already are, and start plugging numbers, and it'll give you a projection of where you're at, because I would hate for people to mislead themselves and be like, oh, well, if I lose money, it's okay. I could always write it off. You might already have excessive write-offs, so it's not helping you at all.
Yeah, it's not going to help you at all. You don't, no benefit. I'm really glad you've mentioned some kind of accounting system, because if you're an investor and you're on the stock market and you don't account for your trades, you're going to always lose. Right, I have a system called EasyBooks, and my accounts is done to the minute. I don't end of the year give my CPA or accountant a pile of paper and do it. I can tell you right now, this second, exactly what everywhere, what my tax is, everything. Because what I do is, if I go out and buy something today on my credit card, I always use a credit card, and I pay it off automatic end of the month to get the cash back and everything else. I never use cash. I never use debit cards. The worst thing in the world to do is use a debit card and cash. Absolutely. I always use a credit card. I get my 3% cash back. I never pay any interest. Pay it off end of the month automatically. So if I go out today and I buy a McDonald's for $8, which used to be $2 about 5 years ago, talk about McDonald's and inflation. Anyway, if I went out and bought a McDonald's today,
and devaluation of currency too.
If I went out today and I buy a McDonald's, within 5 minutes of me purchasing that McDonald's, it's on my EasyBooks. I've gone McDonald's, $5.99, done. My account is up to date. So I know what I have today, a month, a week, a year, 100 years from now, if I live to 100, I know exactly what I've got. And that way I can make informed decisions with a plan. And I have shared this on the screen. I'm just going to show this to people because I'm really glad you've brought that up. Responsible investing. It's not just about the stocks you buy. It's about your planning. And this is something that I'm doing live on the show. Within 12 months, my portfolio started at $5,000. As you know, 2.5 years ago, $5,000. We're now at 72. I've never shorted a stock, no options, no gambling. I'm now at 72. I'll bid 144,000 within a year from now. I'll bid 100,000 by the end of this year. I'll be at $1 million, no doubt about it, within 12 years. In reality, it's probably going to be more like 5 or 6 years because the rate of the growth of what I'm doing. But 12 years is the worst case scenario. As long as I'm earning 13% a year on my S&P, that's including inflation, putting 2,100 in, which is what I currently earn on YouTube. That's what's left after my bills. And I do that consistently. That's where I'll go. Now, without a plan and without a strategy, all of this trading is completely and utterly pointless. Because why do we invest? We invest so one day in the future, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever it might be, you're going to have what you need to take care of your family. In my case, it's take care of Leah. So I bought the house. I own the house in England. That's where we're going to retire in. That's the house. I'm in Dallas now, but my house is in England. That's paid for. It's all done. So it runs on solar panels. It runs for free. And now I'm building up the $1 million. And if you don't have that strategy and you don't have that goal, all of this trading is completely pointless because you don't know where you're going. You have to you have to play the game with the rules that are laid out. Even if you don't agree with the rules, I don't like short sellers, but they're part of the game. I understand how it works. Then you play the game to win. Simple as that. So anyway, Robert,
I want to say one last thing because I think we're getting ready to end this. I want to make this point very clear to everybody. My daughter, she has a portfolio and she has some investments. She has no Nikola. She has no penny stocks right there. And for my daughter, I would never teach her to be a trader. So I do want to say that very clear. You know, my daughter, her investments, she has investments because I'm teaching her to invest long-term because I believe that long-term investing is the way to build yourself a nest egg. Trading, if you're trading thinking that's the way to invest for retirement, I want to make it clear that that's not a good thing. When you're investing in retirement, you got to invest in the right thing and leave it alone. Let it grow on its own.
Yeah. Fantastic. Before you go, Robert, I'm going to share with everybody your channel because one thing that we love to do, like Mr. Beast gives away money, we help support people. We've raised lots of money for charities, over $1 million for charities. We've helped people get themselves in the top 10 of short selling books category on Amazon within days. We've blown people's YouTube channels up. We've done all sorts, and we're here and we love helping people, right? As I know you do. So I'm going to share with everybody now your YouTube channel, and I want everyone to go to subscribe to it, and we're going to refresh it right now. So it's on right now. 2,270 something. I don't get the exact number unless I get into your account. I don't know. 2.27, 270, right? 2,270. I could only see it go up by 10. So I want everyone to do now. I'm going to give you the link to Rob's channel, and I'm going to refresh it. Right? I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to come back to it in 1 minute from now. There you go. I want all my members to go and subscribe to Robert's channel. As you know, we have a very engaged audience. 98% of our live viewers are members. It's higher than Mr. Beast, higher than any channel on YouTube. I'm very proud of that. So in a minute, I'm going to refresh that, and I want to see that turn to 30. 28. That means it's gone up at least 10. All right, so 2,270 to get to 80, it's got to go at least 10. So let me give everybody the link. All right, there it is. Go and put a subscription on Robert's channel, and I want to share with this because this is quite fun. This is quite good. Me and Robert have got a little battle going on here. You're going to like this, Robert. You're going to like this. I'm all about numbers and targets and fun and setting goals for myself. You know, you mentioned about you've been covering Nikola and all the rest of it. Well, you got a bit of competition now, my friend, because this is searching. This is searching on Google, on YouTube, incognito, so I can't manipulate the numbers, so it doesn't suggest me or you by being logged in as myself. Incognito, okay? So I'm going to share with you, if you type NKLA stock into YouTube, all right? This is where me and you rank right now. NKLA stock. All right, so we're not manipulating this in any way. I'm not putting Martyn Lucas to try and beat Robert, or I'm not putting Robert to beat me. And I'm incognito, so it's all done properly. All right, and you'll see that there's Robert's video. There's my video. You can see other things that are ranking. There's another one from Robert. There is the top ranking channels. In third place with CNBC with 2.6 million subscribers. They're in third place. In second place, Robert, it's you, my friend. And there I am at the moment, just ahead number one. Right. So
I would never aim to be bigger than you. You're the showman.
No.
But the fact that we're being CNBC.
I know. Exactly.
Gold.
You're happy with that. Exactly. You're happy with that. Yeah. So we'll watch that and keep your eye on that. That changes, all the time. So I want to see you edit this down, do what you do a reply video. I want to see you jump across ahead of me today or tomorrow. See if you can do that. And if you can,
it's not going to happen. I'm not.
Of course it can. Of course it can. Don't think like that.
I just love that I got invited to your show, that we got this time to do this. It was fun. And we added transparency to the behind the scenes, at least to my show, because I keep it a little bit of show on the show.
You do.
But hey, you know where else you're beating CNBC? On Fisker. I've been checking those stats too.
I am. FSR
it's really
stock. Awesome. FSR. Do you know what's really exciting now, Robert? The golden chalice is to rank for a single word. I'm now starting to rank for the word stock, which is very exciting because obviously FSR stock, Nikola stock, SPCE stock. I rank for all of these number one now. But if you can rank for the word stock, then all of a sudden we are looking at the trajectory of the show. We should be at 10 million subscribers within 7 years, which would make us the biggest financial channel in the world, bigger than CNBC and Bloomberg combined. That's where we see our trajectory going. We're doubling every month our rate of growth. So anyway, talking of which,
I really would love you to get there. I just want to end this.
Just 1 second, because we're going to end it with your comment in a minute. Let's see if we've managed to get your YouTubers to your subscriber count to go. So here we go. We were at 2,270. Let me refresh it. I hope it's now 2.28. You ready, guys? Did everybody do it? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2.27, 2.2. Oh, damn it. It's still 2.27. Has everybody done it? Oh, no.
They're already subscribed to both of us.
Come on, everybody.
The audience is already subscribed.
I know. But I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm going to come back to it in a second. So just before we close out, I'm going to give you the final word, Robert. And if you'd like to have a little testimonial commercial on my channel, I play these all the time from my guests who've been on the show. Give me a 30-second soundbite, who you are, if you want to, if you've enjoyed your experience, and then I can put that onto the show. So, Robert, I'm going to give you the final say on this one.
Can I have 1 minute to say something before you say that?
As much time as you need.
I just want to talk about the importance of mentorship and looking at a man like Martyn and realizing that he is a great mentor. Take mentorship from whoever you can. And Martyn provides great mentorship. I would love, Martyn, if you would mentor me. I know the importance of mentors, and I know the importance of other people's experience. Other than that, I just want to invite everybody to keep watching our shows. I'm at Investing and Entrepreneurship with Martyn, and I look forward to more of these collaborations. Please, audience, vote on it. Let us know how you liked it and if you would like more, because I'm up for it, and if Martyn's up for it, it's game.
Robert, that was great. Thank you very much indeed for that. I kept refreshing it thinking, God, we've only got to go, because it does it in 10 batches of 10, so I don't know whereabouts we are. Anyway, have we got any more comments? Anybody? Hang on. Spike Lee just said, hang on a minute, I'm going to do it. Let's see. I've put it in the chat. Let's see. Can we get it 2.28? That'll be at least 10 then. We just don't know where it is. It could be. Due diligence, says William. Absolutely, always. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Well, again, that's a phrase that gets used too much. Buy the dip. I wouldn't just buy the dip because buy the dip is a phrase. What you're doing is buying when the stock is undervalued of where it can go in the future. A dip. Is a dip a dip? What does dip really mean? Be very careful if you're using that phrase. Anyway, I don't think we've got any specific questions that we haven't already covered. So what we're going to do now, we're going to send everybody over to my... Just stay with me a second, Robert. We're going to send everybody over to our 24-hour stream, which will continue the conversation there. If anybody wants to pop in, that's where we're 24 hours a day pretty much now. This is the 24-hour stream where we are right now. This conversation carries on all the time. It's behind the scenes. You can see Robert on the screen there. So you can come in because I'm going to get ready now for the closing bell. There's more premieres, more reviews coming up. And if there's anything important in there, you can come on in and let me know. We can come back. But it keeps everybody talking all the time. Let me give everybody the link for that. Here's the link as well. If you'd rather use the link rather than the auto setting. But it just leaves me to say to you, Robert, thank you ever so much for being on my show. You've been a great guest and a great sport as well, because we started off showing your clips from your video where we were challenging each other. So all respect for you for taking that on the chin. You didn't know what I was going to ask you. You certainly didn't know I was going to share that video. So thank you for being such a great guest and answering all the questions so eloquently and honestly. Thank you for being a guest on my show.
Thank you, Martyn, for having me. I really enjoyed it. If there's more to come, I look forward to it.
Thank you ever so much. Stay right where you are, and I'll
really
end this.
Appreciate it, Martyn. Thank you.
You're welcome. Stay right where you are, and I'll end the stream with you.
And to everybody, thank you for watching.
Oh, awesome stuff. So stay right where you are, Robert, and I'll come back to you just at the end, buffering a little bit. So there we go. There was Robert on my show today. What a great guest. It was my absolute pleasure to have Robert on the show. I hope everybody goes out and clicks on his YouTube channel. I will leave it below in the description as well, so you can do that. Nikola is trimming down a little bit right now, but you've heard a lot more about Nikola today. What do you think? Is it a good investment? Are you going to buy it? Is it a scalp trade? Leave me your thoughts and comments below. This is a live broadcast, but it will come out later as its own video. And we hope that you'll all leave your thoughts and comments. And I will reply back to all of my members. Just leaves me to say thank you to Robert for being on the show. And click above my head for all the links down here, over here, over here, and over here. And that's it from me. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. And that's where I will fade the video out. Robert, I'll put a little end on it. Thanks again, mate. Appreciate that.
Hey, I appreciate it, Martyn. I mean it, man. I think that you're a great mentor. There's so much that people can learn from you. I love your energy. I love your transparency. I love what you're doing with the show. I feel fortunate that you had me here, and I appreciate you, Martyn. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's great, mate. It's really good. Well, I'm just going to click the button so it sends everybody to the 24-hour stream, and then I'm going to come back with my closing bell this afternoon. But it's always a pleasure. You're welcome on the show anytime. I'd love to follow your journey and help you grow and be part of what you're doing. So thanks ever so much, mate.
Likewise. Have a good one. See you.
There's Robert on the show. Right, let me just end the screen. This will send you now over to our 24-hour stream, and you can pop on in there, and I'll be back very shortly. So let's end it. As always, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.